Now, you probably don't know me from anywhere on YouTube, but I'm actually a newcomer in this business. My purpose on YouTube, well, as far as I'm concerned, is to review anything underrated. I figured that there are some things and some projects in life that are overlooked. And I'm reviewing anything overlooked, underrated, or, well, pretty much anything I might want to review related to books. Well, not books. No one wants to review a book. Video games, movies, and that's pretty much it. So, as far as I'm gonna go, I'm gonna start out with reviewing a video game. Now, what I want to do with reviewing a video game, what am I gonna do? Though I think I got an idea. How about I talk about one of the franchises everyone seems to remember when it comes to survival video games, the Resident Evil series. Everybody knows Resident Evil. Well, any hardcore gamer out there. Everyone's got their own opinion. Now, I want to display my opinion on the games and the movies. Starting out with the beginning of the franchise. Now, I'm going to admit I haven't played all of the games. I'm going to talk about the games I have played, or at least know the plot of. Now, Resident Evil 1. Now, I'm going to go by two games at a time in each review. So, Resident Evil 1, from what I can understand, you play as a man by the name of Chris Redfield, who's in a special forces group. His job, pretty much just stop a bad guy, find out what's up with mutations and all that. I haven't played the game actually, probably because it's too primitive of a console for me. But from what I can understand, it kickstarted the franchise, and I guess if it kickstarted the franchise, it must be pretty good, considering the franchise itself is incredibly popular. So I don't know much about it, but hell, I'll give it 3 stars out of 5. Now for Resident Evil 2, this is where I get familiar with it. Now from what I understand about Resident Evil 2 is that it's starring 2 characters. Well, 2 main characters. Well, it's separated into 2 discs. It's on the original PlayStation console, so what I do know that one disc contains one version of the story starring both of the characters, and another one contains a different version of the story. I get confused, but it stars 2 characters, Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield, Chris Redfield's sister. Now I'll get to the characters later on. Now Leon and Claire are trapped within a place called Raccoon City, where a viral outbreak caused by something called the T-virus is broken out. I don't know where it got the name, but so they run off into a local police station for shelter. They hide from zombies, they shoot them up, and then they all come across they both come across a unique tag-along. Claire comes across a young girl named Sherry Birkin, who I really pity for having to be in such tough times at such a young age. And her parents aren't helping. They're the creators of the virus. Leon comes across a very confusing person named Ada Wong. Now, I'll get to her later. So, they both go around, they shoot up some zombies, they recover information, they come across their own dangerous encounters, a whole bunch of stuff happens. Including one part which is probably one of my favorites, when either Leon or Claire is going to rescue their tag-along. Leon's trying to find Ada, and Claire's trying to find Sherry. They come across a gigantic-ass alligator in the sewers. How cliched is... Wait, this is supposed to take place in the Midwest. What's an alligator doing in the sewer? Ah, well, classic cliche. Everyone loves it. And Leon, either Leon or Claire, pulls out a pistol. They shoot a can. Smile, you son of a bitch, and then blow him up. Or should I? Or am I supposed to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger and just say your luggage? Because it's pretty much the same thing. They blow their heads in. They do the same thing in more or less a remake of Resident Evil 2. Well, part of it. Called Memories of the Lost City in the story Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles. They do the same thing, only that Claire and Leon team up instead of separating. So they come across the characters, but unfortunately they're given less development because the game is shorter and so they discover a whole bunch of things. They find out Sherry's parents, Annette and William Birkin, are the creators of the virus. William has actually turned himself into the ultimate bioweapon using their newest creation, the G virus. And apparently a secret organization called Umbrella was the creator of, well, wanted to steal the virus, and then they were a pharmaceutical giant in all this business, and 3 years later, up until Resident Evil 4, Umbrella was finished. But Umbrella, it controls it pretty much has everything to do with the virus, and then there's this rival company, which I'll talk about later. A whole bunch of stuff happens, they escape, and then they're picked up by government agents, and everyone's interrogated. Not really, that's the end of the Darkside Chronicles. The story of Leon, how Leon came to be. He used to be a cop in Raccoon City up until he was taken in by government agents along with Sherry and Claire, and then he was forced to work with them. Man, the government's an even bigger douche than in real life in this game. So that covers the first two Resident Evil games. The second Resident Evil's probably got the heaviest moments in the whole franchise. And what I mean by that is that it's got some of the hardest moments to sit through. They're not gross or anything, some of them are, but it's just that some of the scenes can actually be kind of heartwarming. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll give Resident Evil 2 4.5 stars out of 5. I know it's a lot more than what I gave Resident Evil 1, but come on, I actually played Resident Evil 2. I never played Resident Evil 1. Now let's get to the characters. You got Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, Sherry Birkin, all that fun stuff throughout this part. So as far as I'm concerned, in this part of the franchise, all I know is that, well, I'm gonna state my honest opinion in this. I think Chris Redfield is a douche. Honestly, he is just a freaking buzzkill. He's the stereotypical soldier that everyone remembers from every military story, or every story where the military's the bad guy and all that. And that's why I stay away from the military. And then you got Leon Kennedy. Yeah, it starts out as a cop, and he's probably the most famous character in the franchise. I guess it's his laid-back and cool attitude. He's the kind of hero that needs to come back. He didn't get involved with all this business. He didn't put himself in danger multiple times because he's getting paid, and it's not just because he's in the line of duty. But as we'll reveal in Resident Evil 4, he's doing this business because he cares. He is the kind of hero that nobody remembers anymore. Pretty much all the heroes nowadays in video games, books, movies, they're all pretty much heroes who just do their job to either get paid or get the girl. I mean, Leon doesn't do that. Now, I'm not praising Leon. He's got his flaws too, but I guess people just like to crack jokes about him. Then you got Sherry Birkin, little kid, really young. Gets older throughout the series, and you actually get to... Yeah, she actually makes use of herself instead of just retrieving things for you. Sherry's actually kind of a nice kid. I mean, I don't know why people find her... I can see how people find her annoying, but I personally don't. I guess it's just the oversympathetic idiot that I am, but I don't know. I guess I just have a soft spot for kids growing up in tough times. And then you got Ada. My God, where do I begin with this character? Ada is the most confusing, conniving, and sometimes most interesting character in the series. I mean, in Resident Evil 2, she only appears in the even-numbered games, just like Leon. So, from what I know, in Resident Evil 2, she's your ally. But in one of the stories, she kind of turns against you for like 5 seconds, and, well, not really. It's longer than that, but then she gets shot in the shoulder and falls off a ledge. But she comes back in Resident Evil 4, assuming that she survived. In the second version, Leon and Ada actually become kind of close together, and I actually start feeling jealous that he gets the woman in red. Or as she's described by Jack Krauser in Resident Evil 4, the bitch in the red dress. Yeah, I can see why he says that. I mean, seriously. She acts like your ally throughout most of the game, and then all of a sudden when you achieve your goal, she pulls a gun on you. Yeah, that's a bitch in my book. But who am I to complain? But I guess I got kind of a love-hate relationship with Ada. I mean, I don't love her, I don't hate her, it's just she can just really tick me off in some cases, and in other cases I find her very interesting, and sometimes confusing. Why am I saying sometimes? Most of the time confusing, because I don't know if she's a good guy, a bad guy, an innocent pawn, or a time bomb waiting to go off. Okay, maybe not a time bomb. A good guy, a bad guy, someone who's willing to turn against her superiors, or someone who really wants to help you. Now you got Claire. She's pretty much innocent throughout the first half of Resident Evil 2. Well, beginning at least. She's just looking for her brother, and then she joins Leon, and then everything goes haywire from there. She gets a gun, she becomes badass, everyone knows the drill. I mean, seriously, you could take an average person, give them a gun, and then they become badass. Not always the case, but I guess it works. So, by far to me, in this batch, Resident Evil 2 is the best. Well, to me, the even-numbered games are always going to be the best. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm saying that a lot, but as far as I know, next batch we're going to talk about Resident Evil 3 and 4. Now 4 is considered the best, and 3 is actually one of the more popular games because of one word in it. Nemesis. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Resident Evil 1, never played it, but I've heard it's popular. Resident Evil 2, played it, my